Hi, my name is Jensen, and my project is called The Hair Trade's Dirty Secret, or How the Hair Industry Marginalizes East Asian Women. I am specifically talking about human hair extensions and wigs that are used by people in the West. If you're up to date with any pop culture nowadays, you'll know that celebrities like Kylie Jenner, Sia, and Jeffree Star are often seen boasting and wearing these new expensive wigs that they are buying. These wigs come in a variety of colors, styles, and lengths, and they are all human hair and very expensive. These celebrities do a great job at sensationalizing these wigs and making it the new big it thing for people in my generation. However, what most consumers don't know is that the human hair that is used in these wigs is bought in some pretty unethical ways. There are a few different grades of hair that's used in these wigs, and the lowest grade is called comb hair. This hair is quite literally what it sounds like. It is bought from women off the streets for pennies, and it is dead clumps of hair that's just taken off their hairbrush. It's pretty gross, if you ask me, and after this hair is bought in bulk, it is then taken to hair detangling factories in China, India, and Bangladesh, where workers can spend up to 80 hours detangling a single clump of hair. The effort and work it takes to detangle these clumps of hair is very painstaking. Hair is very fine, and they have to spend a great amount of time trying not to rip it and to get it all smooth and straightened out, which, as you can imagine, would be a very hard job. Another few methods of acquiring are is part of a religious practice. Hindu women will shave their heads off at Hindu temples, either as a religious sacrifice or as a donation to the temple, because that hair is then sold to buyers. It is used as a means of acquiring funds. However, not all of the donations at these temples is 100% consensual, as there have been instances in which husbands have forced their wives and their children to shave their head. In recent developments, women in rural India have also been subject to brutal attacks for their hair. Oftentimes, homes will be broken into, or at nighttime, they will just be targeted and beat up for their hair. Men will show up and they'll just cut it off and beat these women brutally for it. Similarly, in Myanmar, whilst it's not as brutal as it is in India, women are still having their hair stolen from them in more of a pickpocket fashion. They'll be going around about their daily activities, and without even knowing it, it's very possible for a man to come up and just cut their hair off, and that's it. End of story. So the highest standard of human hair is called Remy hair, quite literally the gold standard of human hair. Remy hair is pure, virgin, untouched human hair, and it is often found in women in very rural communities of Southeast and Southern Asia. Oftentimes, vendors will approach these women who are living in poverty and will pay them as little as $1 for 10 inches of hair. Considering that this hair is the gold standard, paying as little as $1 for it is criminal. Then this hair is then turned around and sold on the Western market after it's treated for upwards of $3,000, which is quite a considerable markup, and these women who are living in poverty aren't seeing any of the funds from that. Specifically, when we're talking about these rural communities, often hair is a cultural importance to these women. Women will forego other basic necessities in order to care for their hair. So when they sell it, they are not doing it out of pure consent. Most of the time, they are doing it out of desperation, and they are not seeing any of the funds from it. So one question you may ask is, are there ethical solutions? And yes, there are. There are quite a few different companies emerging in the West that specialize in ethically acquiring the hair used in these hair extensions. One notable game changer is Dan Choi, who runs Remy New York, which is a high-end hair extension and wig company in New York City. He buys this Remy hair and works specifically in rural Vietnam. Whereas some vendors pay these women as little as $1, Dan Choi spends between $90 and $450 per lock of hair, which can quite literally, whilst Dan Choi is one of the biggest actors in the ethical hair industry, there are a few other emerging companies as well, but I would say the takeaway for my project is for all consumers, regardless of where they are buying their hair or where they're getting their hair from, to look into the background of it, to research into the company, to see if there are any clear answers as to how they acquire the hair, where it comes from, what grade they are receiving, and to do their best to only shop from suppliers who ethically source, such as Dan Choi. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation.